Here's one, Wendy. And now maybe that artist would listen to this. Maybe that artist will create on their landing page an ability for people to download the song off of their website, in exchange for an email address.
Right.
If you guys, if you like this sound, download this sound for free in exchange for your email address, so I can keep you guys abreast as to my next song release.
I got the cheat code to the street. Gotta make sure that my family eat. I get the cheat code, I'm a beast. They said they'll never let me out of lease. Stop all the cap, I'm just trying to see. You really back what you talk on the beat. They put me in, I'ma walk on the beat. I eat my plate and it make me obese. I been pushing lyrics like a kingpin. And when today we got them.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. I gotta add the je. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
You got to get the.
Bon.
I love it.
I had such a good
Fresh
time.
back from France.
Yes.
The passport
Yes.
baby is back, baby.
Yes.
How many
Baby.
pages on the passport page?
I've never been to Europe. I'm going next year.
You
for
have
sure.
to. You
For
have
real?
to.
Never
First
been
of all,
to
it's not
Yeah.
expensive, and
I
the
have
exchange
family.
rate is amazing.
I have family in London, so I gotta go.
Yes.
I love it. I can't go to certain countries.
I did 5 days in Paris, and then I threw myself into a really uncomfortable
I seen.
situation, right? What
You
I
went exploring.
decided to do, I went exploring. I rented a car, and for 10 days, I drove around the south of France.
Okay, stop.
Stopping.
Why?
What side of the do they
'Cause I
drive on
wanted
the
to
left
get
or the
out of-
right?
The right, normal. Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to get out of my comfort zone.
Okay.
I wanted to shake shit up. I speak French, but not good enough to drive around the countryside. Yeah. It was stressful. And I had rented like a little Fiat because the streets are really narrow. Everything
And they're
is,
different.
like,
You
from
drive on the opposite
1500s.
side?
You don't, not in France.
Oh, okay.
That's the UK where you
got
drive on the left hand side. It's the normal side.
Okay.
But they didn't have a small car, so they gave me like an MG, which is the size of a Bronco.
Oh,
So
my goodness.
I'm going like down these one-way streets where the mirrors are like ready to scrape the walls. I felt like I was driving an 18-wheeler. It was crazy.
Right.
It was crazy. It was crazy.
How's gas?
I had such a good time. Expensive as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, very,
So
very,
you-
very expensive.
You didn't get radicalized, did you?
I
Go
don't
over
think
there
so.
and become like this the greatest thing since sliced bread.
I don't
Those
think
guys
so.
back home got it all screwed up. No.
No, but I ate healthy. I didn't have any caffeine. I didn't really eat much sugar.
Tell Rario what you were telling me about this is gonna blow your mind. Tell him about the restaurants closing at 2 to 6.
Oh,
This
yeah.
blew my mind.
So
I'd be pissed off.
Yeah, I was very pissed off because I don't get hungry till like 3 p.m. So lunch is from like noon to 2 or 2:30, and then the restaurants shut down, and then they open for dinner from like 6 to 10. Some of them don't open till 8, like 8 to 10 for
It's like
dinner.
a city full of forward child.
So, and I eat, yes. So I eat at like 3 p.m. So it limited what I could eat. I was eating like shit that you find in a coffee shop, or getting baguettes and butter or cheese, or like snacking because I kept missing meals.
What are the French known as crazy as it may sound? What are they known for? What is their signature?
Pate, cream sauces,
Ooh.
baguettes,
Bread.
croissants.
I love
Ooh.
breads.
And
Okay, so
coffee. Their
croissants,
coffee
yeah.
is slamming. I
Really?
didn't drink any while I was there because I didn't really do caffeine.
I love it.
But yeah, their coffee it's dark and it's full. And
That
it's
might
rich.
be why I have to go. I love me a good cup of mud. Rory was like, "You're gonna drink your coffee black."
Oh
John
yeah, so
Wayne,
we went to get some coffee, and you know how you put a little something in your coffee. He put nothing.
John Wayne.
Yeah.
He
I
just
drink my
grabbed the
coffee
cup
black.
after it poured
When
out.
I'm
and
when I'm
walked
there,
away.
I drink. When I'm overseas and I'm drinking coffee, I drink it black.
Got to.
But
Skip right to
no
the
sugar,
feeling.
so
no nothing.
strong.
Right
It just
to the
tastes
feeling.
good. Dark coffee tastes good. Dark everything tastes good.
That's what's up.
Unless it's chicory. That's why I learned how to
Here we
drink
go,
the black
chicory
coffee.
again.
I learned chicory.
Chicory,
from you.
chicory, chicory.
Yeah,
I didn't even know
chicory
that
is
was. I
that's
didn't even
very
know what that was.
powerful.
It's a thing. It's
Very
a thing.
robust coffee flavor. Yeah.
It's a thing.
And if you could drink chicory straight, Maxwell House, that's small
Nothing.
potatoes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So I got to share the greatest thing that
Come on.
happened. So, I was in Paris for the first 5 days, and it rained the whole time. I don't mean sprinkle. I mean pouring rain, right?
Okay.
The whole time. So it wasn't like I could go out and not get soaking wet.
Right.
So Adam Favors, who works for 50 Cent,
The OG?
the OG. He came to
3
Paris.
times for Adam Favors.
Yeah, he came to Paris to visit me, which was really cool. And he said, I have a surprise for you. Leave one of the nights open. So I said, okay. So he got us tickets to the Kanye,
The
Ty Dolla
Vultures.
sign listening
Yes,
party.
that you put the video in the chat. I saw that.
Dude,
How was it?
it was amazing. It was really amazing. So first of all, who gets a comp for that? Adam Favors.
Right.
Like, how amazing is that?
How amazing was it to see
I
all
was
of those
saying-
people in
I was saying
France
he's
singing
never-
his songs in English?
It was incredible. And it's not like an American crowd. I mean, American crowds are cool. I'm not trying to shit on them. But in France, they were jumping so hard that I thought I was going to die. I thought that the stands it was 20,000 people and me.
They don't have
And
access to
Ye
Ye like we do.
the
We take
stands
Ye
were
for
doing
granted
this.
over here.
We do.
We
It's
take
true.
Ye
We
for
take
granted.
a lot of things for granted over
It's
here.
true.
We
lot
take
of
Ye-
things.
We take a lot of our celebrities
of
for
things.
granted, but we take Ye for granted.
But I thought I'm going to make dinner reservations because he's never going to get us into this. That mother got us in.
Yeah. I love it.
Pineapple.
I love it. Yeah,
I
Adam
was
Favors
so
is
Adam
the quadruple
is just
OG, man. He's an
super
amazing
OG,
person.
just amazing human being, great person to spend time with, and he got tickets to Kanye. in
What
Paris.
was the music like out there? Was it like jazzy?
It's pop. It's
Pop?
pretty much
Very
like our
poppy?
music. Yeah, they play a lot of French content because there's laws that on the stations out there where a certain percentage has to be French music, which is as it should be. But the fans knew Vulture. It had only been out for a week, and they knew it word for word. And what I really learned was that anthem rap or anthem pop songs are where it's at. That's what does really well.
Anthem pop
because
songs.
the fans were hype about everything, but on the really anthem sounding songs, they were just at it. Like they were just, and again, word for word, there were parts where Kanye just shut the sound off and let 20,000 people sing the song.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do anything but film.
take him for granted.
And I'm not a Kanye fan, right? I left there a Kanye fan. Like I was a fan
Wow.
of his stardom, not him as a person. No disrespect. He's a fine human being, but I left as like a fan of his creations.
Right.
Because the fans loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah, we take Ye for granted. He's done some amazing things musically, sonically. He's done some really
Gotta give him props.
amazing things. Yeah, got to give him props.
Gotta give him props.
Absolutely. So France, okay,
So I came home with my self-esteem on 10 because I kept throwing myself into situations that were uncomfortable. I just wanted to push myself.
oh, like standing in a room with 30,000 French people at a Kanye concert? That doesn't sound like normal Wendy.
Exactly.
Jeez
And-
Louise.
Yeah, I mean, I'm mesmerized because like
I went places where people don't speak English.
I was gonna say,
at
no one
all.
speaks English.
None.
Wow.
And I do speak French, but my French isn't good enough to like have a flat tire.
What was your
on the
favorite
side of the
city
road.
along those stops? Said you went to 10 other cities?
Yes, Aix-en-Provence was my favorite.
Okay, why?
But hands down. It was the most calming for me. There was a lot to do. There were little shops. The art was incredible. I went to Cezanne Studio, which was incredible. There was just enough to do there to really pull my attention. And because I was going to be gone for 15 days, my goal was to do just one cool thing every day. And then when I got there, I realized, okay, I can do 2 cool things every day and still have enough time to like read,
Right.
get a little bit of work done for my clients and rest so I wouldn't come home tired. Do you know I did like 3 cool things every day? I made my own perfume. I made a purse.
Wow.
I went on different food tours. I learned how to make croissants. I learned how to bake bread.
Sounds like you went on the trip with your best friend, yourself.
Myself,
And you-
yes.
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 And you did all this alone.
I did all of this alone. Yes.
Very brave of
At
you.
61 years old. Brave, borderline crazy, yes. And I had a really good time.
Well, crazy would have been if you went out there, half cocked with no cell phone. That would have been crazy. But
Yeah,
I think you're bold.
Yeah.
Piss and vinegar. I think
Yeah,
is-
piss
is
and
the-
vinegar is
piss
what we
and
talked
vinegar
about. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
And
think that's
and
dope.
it was because I came home and all of the things that were like problems before I left no longer are. I'm so confrontational right now. And I apologize in advance because you guys are going to definitely, you're the closest to me. You're going to feel it. Yeah. But it's like when you're over here and you're able to survive and do what you need to do. I wandered in Marseille. I wandered into, they have a very strong Arabic influence just because of where they're located at the bottom of the map. Mm-hmm. And I wandered into a neighborhood that I should not have really been in.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, old Wendy would have been really nervous and scared. And I wasn't at all.
I was
just
going to ask you,
bring it.
did the people treat you like, a snob-nosed American? Or did they welcome you?
People were very welcoming, and again, I do speak a little bit of French, so I didn't speak English the whole time. As Americans, sometimes we go into a foreign country and we force people to greet us in our own language, and I didn't do that. There were times where in Paris where I would start speaking to somebody and they would answer me in English, and I realized, wow, my little French must be like Brooklyn French.
Right.
You know, it must be pidgin French.
Or it was a sign of where, hey, you could be yourself. That's cool.
Yes.
I can speak English.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's like a compliment to some people.
But
Like
outside of Paris,
if you're not from
wasn't the
French
case.
and you come here and you know how to speak a little bit of French, it means you took a little.
Yeah.
You put some thought into coming here,
I
so
feel
we want
like
to help
that's
you out.
respectful too,
yes,
though.
yes.
And
And
they
then
appreciate that.
the last thing that I'll say, because I don't want this to all be about like my vacation, even though I so rarely take them now, but when I was in Monaco, and I was really looking forward to going to Monaco. Monaco is a really wealthy
Riviera?
country. Yes, very wealthy.
That's on my list of places to
expected it to
travel.
be like a
Quality of
same.
I think that's the number one
thought it-
quality of life in the world is Monaco.
I get it. I really get it. I even had lunch like at the yacht club, which was really cool. And you're not supposed to. I just wandered because when
Right.
you're alone and you don't realize what you're doing, you kind of Forrest Gump your way into some situations.
Right.
You're like, oh, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not a member. Where's the restaurant?
Right.
You know, it was kind of that situation. But I realized I thought it was going to be like a French Dubai, right? And as I was looking
one,
around, I realized how many women look like Kim Kardashian, and it dumbfounded me. I spent 4 hours in Monaco. I had to get. No disrespect to Kim Kardashian, but it's a little scary to me that
The whole
people
room full of
use
them.
her as like the bar of
barometer,
Yes, they
the
go
beauty.
they go to the
Exotic. This is what an
yes, they
exotic
go to
woman
the
should look
doctor
like.
and they say make me look like this, and I kept looking like, oh my god, is that Kim Kardashian?
I'm crying.
Wait, is that Kim Kardashian? Is that Kim Kardashian? It was crazy. It would suck to be Kim Kardashian going to Monaco,
Right.
Because it'd be like, why does everybody here look like me?
And then the people who are driving like the baddest cars in the world.
Yes.
And the
Yes.
biggest boats.
Yes.
It's one of the
I have
the
more
most
pictures
wealthiest.
of yachts.
I think it's
like
the
the number
top
one.
five or number
I think
one
it's the
before,
number one. Yeah.
And it's like definitely
Yeah.
number one for like
For
quality of
country,
life, living
it's
wise,
probably
yeah.
the wealthiest country.
'Cause I know
because it's small.
I know
It's like
Dubai,
the size
Monaco.
of-
I don't know the order, but if it's
Yeah.
Monaco's number one,
Yeah.
I just know that's on my
'cause
list of
it's
places
small.
to go.
It's like the size of Manhattan, so
Okay.
you can walk like
Okay.
it's like a mile and a half wide. Like you could. I'm
Okay.
exaggerating, but you can.
Got it.
Yeah, it's a very small, and it's a country. It's its own country.
Yeah.
I went to the casino, which was really cool in Monaco, and then I got the.
Yeah, you had a
because-
blast.
yeah.
I love
Yeah,
it.
you had a blast.
I did. I had such a
love
good
it.
time. Such a good time.
And,
I will
and
go
you
to
found
Europe
some of
next
the
year.
answers to the questions that you were asking yourself.
I found all the answers.
Yeah.
I did so much. I've been doing work on myself, as you know, since March of last year.
Yep.
And I started to really I've read a book a week. You know, I've lost weight. I've lost 60 pounds since COVID.
Nice.
And I've lost a ton
You
of
lost
weight
a person.
since December. I have, yeah, a little person, but a
Yeah.
person. But I've really done so much like self work, and that was how I spent my entire vacation, was reading, you know, workbooks,
Refueling.
refueling.
I love it.
learning more about myself.
I'm
what
about to take a
capable
vacation
of.
on you, Mo.
You have to.
I
I'm
need
going to
to.
You have
Europe
to.
next year for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, the wife
Awesome.
already. I know I have to. The wife already told me if I don't take a vacation, that's it. It's
London.
done. So I got to get the hell
Go
out
to
of
London.
Gotta go to
It's
London.
very affordable right now.
Yeah.
The pound is like 90 cents to a US dollar, and in my lifetime I've never seen it that low. It's always been like 2 to 1,
I was gonna
which
say,
made it
it's always-
Hold
really
on.
expensive for us
here. So
to go to
the
London.
the
I was saying,
pound
it
is
used to be
worth
higher,
less than
didn't
the
it?
American dollar. So
Yes.
when
They're in a
when
recession.
companies that are over there, when the streaming companies that are over there, when they pay out their payouts in American money, do they pay on the day where the American dollar is the highest or the lowest? See, never mind. I'm sorry. Tap in for Kingpin after we'll call it. We'll figure something out for it. But we got stuff to talk about, man. While you were gone in France, the music industry apparently decided not to take a vacation. They went into overdrive.
Everybody kind of got fired. while I
Everybody
was
got
gone.
fired.
Oh,
Radio
yeah.
departments got wiped
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. And video departments.
companies
yeah.
got added to different ad reports, which means they're reporting to different divisions. So there's new label heads. Is that
Yes. Yes.
restructuring?
Restructuring.
I
yep.
just
A
I
couple
do,
disgruntled
the head of
employees started
Capital said,
sending out
"I'm out."
memos, being about the shit that they had to see. right?
I remember when I worked at Warner. I just never forget when we had a meeting, and I just remember we spent a lot of time on the streaming part more than the promotion radio part. And I
Yes.
just that bothered me for a while, and I kept saying like, "This is my first
Economics.
month, but why are we spending the majority of the time here when I work here?"
Right. Right.
Because I want to know more
Because it
about
ain't
what
about
I
you.
do. But I was saying, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
This is more important.
It's way more important.
In the
It's
grander
what-
scheme
it's
of things,
monetized.
absolutely.
in what we're talking about on this particular meeting, but
Yes.
we had more meetings and we had them all day. Like one thing with labels,
Oh my God,
and you work
the
for a
meetings.
label, you have meetings all day, and then you have to do things from the meeting. So it's like literally you never stop
You
working.
never stop working.
And then you're dealing with
And you're
people in
memoed to
LA, and you're on the East Coast, so you're working until about 9-10 p.m.
Yes.
because people
'Cause
on the
they're
East Coast
6 or
it's
7 is
7
your-
o'clock.
Yes.
So you can have a meeting at 6 p.m. LA time, but it's 9 p.m.
Right.
But I just noticed, and I didn't mean to maybe take it where I don't know if we were going that way, but I just remember because I worked for the radio department, I worked for the promotions department, which was the
Yeah.
radio department, and I kept saying, and even though the Warner radio department is there, it made me think, wow, what's next?
What's
Who's
next? Who's next? Exactly.
Because if we're not being innovative in what we're doing, and keep in mind I'm saying we, but I still
The culture.
have
Talking about
love
the
for
culture, yeah.
yeah. What's next? Because not to dwell into that particular department. I just know people at that department that worked there for over 15 years,
Yes.
and you got rid of the entire department
Yes. All
Everybody.
in one day. Yep.
in the morning, or actually the night right before morning, whatever. But it was
It was crazy. Yeah, it was a bloodbath.
I was expecting that.
I was only because like I mentioned, I hung out with Adam. Adam's like, you know what this week is, right? I'm like, no. He's like, it's bloodbath week. He's like, everybody's getting fired. I'm like, you sure? He's like, I'm positive. He was right.
Things that like that are scary because you make so much money. It's a lot of money made on the label side.
Yes.
And sometimes, and I'm not speaking about Interscope, but I did find myself asking myself, you're making 6 figures and you do nothing.
There's people making 7 figures and doing nothing.
And I'm not trying to tick you off, Kingpin. I would literally be in meetings and I'd just be like,
There's people with $1 million salaries at record labels that have no clue.
it would be I would get frustrated sometimes, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not speaking down on anything. I'm just speaking from
Your
my
experience.
perspective and my experience. I would get frustrated
Yeah.
in a
That's
meeting,
why entire departments got wiped out.
based off of things that I saw people, follow up the whole 9. But yeah, it was.
How long did y'all? How long did people thought they was? How long did you think that you were going to be able to work at that digital company as a digital stylist? You thought the party was going to be forever? You were going to cash in a 15-year paycheck making phone calls? Yeah. I've heard some of the biggest minds in music look me dead in my face that have been doing this 3 times as long as I have and tell me, for the first 20 years of the music business, nobody really knew how to work a record. And the second 20 years, you really had radio or TV, so your options were limited if you knew the people who would get them on. I've heard the people that were in the positions of power admit that to me. There was only 6, 7 outlets that you had to contact to get a song to do what it did.
Only.
There wasn't urban radio stations.
Yeah.
That's fairly new.
Yeah.
All urban rap
96.
radio stations, that's fairly new, bro. That's
96,
modern history.
95 was
Yeah,
Hot
that's
97.
That's modern
Yeah,
history.
yeah.
That didn't
Hot
exist
97
before.
was one of the first. Yeah.
So you know what, bro? Out with the old, in with the music business 3.0. If you guys were at the record labels and you didn't see this coming, were you really keeping your ear to the ground?
I think they saw it coming. I don't think anybody was shocked per se.
Yeah, I don't think anybody was.
But
shocked.
I think when it comes, people
It's messed up.
worry.
It's an eye-opener
and
for
it's,
sure.
It's definitely an eye opener because you have a lifestyle and you're worried about your kids and you're worried about college funds and all that stuff. But everybody that I know that's been fired in the music business down the road has always said that was the best thing that ever happened
Amen.
to
Yes.
them.
Yep.
I
Yep.
don't know
Yep.
anyone that is like still bitter because they lost their job. It's like better things came along and they were able to rise up like phoenixes out of the...
You leave with a better understanding of how the business of music works. And if you didn't leave
Or
with that
doesn't work.
understanding, then they were right to fire you.
I will
Or
also
doesn't
say,
work.
it also it tells you that it changes often,
Yes.
and don't be.
And thank
comfortable.
God, like that's what I love about it. Like every 6 months, it's new.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this
There's something
before.
different all the time.
And that's what makes it fun to me. Because if it were the same thing day after day after day, I think I'd be in tech.
Do you guys remember ringtones?
Yes.
I think
You
we are in
remember
tech. Music
how-
is a division
Do
of
you
technology.
remember
Yes.
how important and big
Yes.
ringtones were.
Yes.
They're still for sale.
Yes.
For
Do you remember
fact.
they were $3.49?
But remember when it was like the big ever.
Remember the
Yes.
ringback tone?
Yes.
Yes.
When you would call somebody and the song would play.
And the
That
song
was
would play.
Whoa.
Yes.
Like
I had that.
ringtones, I never forget.
Yep.
That was one of the biggest things that ever happened. But even before, right before that, it was YouTube. Because remember, Soulja Boy, of course, it was other people before Soulja Boy, but I remember Soulja Boy made it popular. And he did a lot of things that is so popular now back then because he was so innovative with it. Remember he
Yes.
did the dance instruction video?
Yes, he did.
He did the video, Kingpin. First of all, he did the beat.
Soulja Boy was the first person to hop out his bed and turn his swag on. I don't
So
know what
wait,
the hell y'all
first of all,
talking about.
Soulja Boy did the beat. He did the song. He wrote the song. Then the song came out, millions and millions of views. Then he did the tutorial video. And then he did the tutorial to the tutorial video.
Wasn't it like, and all the kids around him, didn't they all go on to become somebody successful?
Yes,
think
not all
so,
of them,
yeah.
but a lot of them.
The vast majority of
Yeah,
them
they-
went on to become
like
either
a coaching
other prominent
tree.
artists. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
great.
Because that was
And he's still winning, by the way. Soulja Boy
course.
is still out here putting up numbers.
Yeah.
Whether he's a star player or he's coming off the bench, he's still out here.
I just
doing his
remember
thing.
ringtones, man. I just never forget ringtones was a
They're
thing.
still selling.
It was.
People still make money.
You know, it's funny. I just put a ringtone on my phone, which is weird. I was somewhere and I heard, the iPhone standard ring.
Yeah.
Well, a symphony replayed that. And I thought
Hysterical.
it was
So it's a
brilliant.
different version of it.
Yes,
just
I thought it was brilliant. So I went and found it, and then I had to like do a bunch of research to get the ringtone onto my phone. I needed 2 phones. It was crazy what I had to go through because I couldn't buy that as a
Sound,
ringtone. Yes.
right.
And that's what reminded me, man, it used to be so easy to get ringtones.
It used to be a store. I mean, I know it's a store now, but it used to be like it was like shopping,
Yes.
and it was charts.
Yes. Yes. There were ringtone charts. You're right.
You can go on Apple Music on your iPhone right now on your iTunes, and you may not be able to buy it as a ringtone because that artist doesn't have it set up as a ringtone. And then back to the beginning, God, did you really do everything that you needed to do to win, my boy? But moral story: if the artist doesn't have a ringtone for sale, they'll never be able to sell a ringtone.
Exactly. But they were so popular because remember, you would download an MP3 for 99 cents or $1.29. Ringtones, which were 60 seconds or 30 seconds, were $3.49.
And then we
Which
learned
would
about
you rather
licensing.
sell?
And then we learned licensing that they can't pay for more than 60 seconds of the
Yes.
song. That's why
That's
a
why the
ringtone
ringtone
doesn't
was
last
60
longer than 60
59
seconds. That's why you
seconds.
can't use
Exactly.
no more than 60 seconds on
yeah.
TikTok.
Exactly.
Because they only pay for a minute blanket licensing.
Exactly.
So the
back
information
to
was
the
being kept
original
to
thing,
us.
yeah.
Bro,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, here's one for you. If you're an artist and you're not trying to have your content in every area of the marketplace, are you really trying to sell records?
Right.
If you have a video and you're not uploading it to Apple to give it to somebody to buy for $1.99, you would rather load it on YouTube for them to watch for free. You're hustling backwards.
My boy.
These are my boy. These are all the things that you guys could be doing to improve your chances. Here's one, Wendy. And now maybe that artist would listen to this. Maybe that artist will create on their landing page an ability for people to download the song off of their website, in exchange for an email address.
Right.
If you guys, if you like this sound, download this sound for free in exchange for your email address, so I can keep you guys abreast as to my next song release or my next ringtone, and then they could try things. Hey, we see you downloaded the Apple Orchestra. We thought you might like the Samsung one. Give it a try. Let us know what you think. I don't got no Samsung, but I know somebody does. Let me send it to them. They may like it. And now it's created a paper trail. So that's what we try to tell these artists to do. Find a product that you make and that people want, and then find a way to tap in with that person.
And who wouldn't want an orchestra playing the iPhone? Right?
I had the craziest. It was a voice, and it would say, "You have a text message, boss." Every time somebody would text me, it would say, "You have a text message, boss. You have a text message, boss." And I've been looking for that sound forever, and I still can't find it.
I still have
anymore.
mine. It's called "It's So Fluffy." It's from a movie.
I'm crying. I love it. Yeah, it's so fluffy.
That's awesome.
So yeah, but
When
moral
we
story.
get off air, I'm going to play you my alarm. What wakes me up every day?
Did you find this ringtone in France?
No. I found it here.
gonna say,
It was actually on
might have been too
YouTube.
much.
I had to play it. I had to play it on YouTube on my one phone and then record it with my other phone, and then I had to send it to myself. and then add it. It was, I had to put it in GarageBand. Like it was a whole thing. Like I would have happily paid $10 for this friggin' ringtone. Because what I had to go through was, and then of course I'm Googling because I don't know how to do it. So I'm Googling, how do I get this ringtone? It was crazy. It was crazy.
But you figured it out. You got the
I
ringtone.
did. I have the ringtone.
Moral of the story: if you want it bad enough, you'll find the way to get it.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I gotta
Absolutely.
cheat code.
Cheateth codeth.
Cheateth Kodai.
Get 2 coffee cups because one just won't do.